all disappears, right? So now I'm going to paint with my soft edge airbrush the effect back in by painting in the layer mask and then revealing the parts of that layer I want revealed. Okay? So I'm playing with white now instead of black. So I'm just going behind him and pulling the blur selectively where I want. So it's not overwhelming. You know, it can just be a really subtle thing. I did it the opposite way here, is I just erased through. That's another way to do it. But the layer mask is a much better way to do it. So don't do as I do, do as I see. Marvel commented that they didn't think they could really see the web. So we had to bring the web more out. I added a little bit of just a little bit, it's got a little bit of a haze in the picture, so I added a little haze on top of that to make it match. Oh, there's our flats. Those are the flats for the image in case you're interested. But the thing that you should notice too, watch this. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of all these layers. All the work we spent. Here's the basic flats, right? Okay. I'm gonna take the flats, let's drag them down and slide them underneath the line art, because in this particular piece we colored it with, you know, the color on top, or the line art on top. Okay, so you can see with Jay's stuff, if I go in and do a levels, and bring it a little brighter so you can see the line art still. If these were all the same colors, and they're not, but they should be, you really don't have to go, you know, you could almost get away with coloring them that way. You know? So when you're coloring somebody with a lot of stuff, it's like, don't over-render them. Let their life, their work for you. Another way that looks interesting when you have somebody who has tones is you can take, slide off the entire thing. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it above the line art. I'm going to put it into color mode. And now it just tints all the shading. So let's say I did that, and then I'm going to duplicate it again, bring it back underneath, right? And then I'm going to lighten it up. So it just works as a little bit of a base for what I did. I'll get to you in 1 second. Oops. So he has a base, but everything gets sort of shaded in there. At least that's ghastly, but pretend it's more like that. It doesn't work everywhere, but you can see where, you know, the buildings and some of those things. This wasn't really meant to be colored that way anyway. I just grabbed it in flats, but yeah, it's not horrible. It's one of the advantages of having tones in the work. Okay, you first, then you.
Coloring line, how do you, would you use this to do that, to color the line art itself, rather than just color behind the line art?
You mean like doing colored holds?
I guess.
Yeah, you can do that, but I wouldn't do it because I'm using because the problem with doing lines that way, it won't work because the lines are black. You'd have to use a different color mode to do that. Okay? And if you want to do the way, well, I'll tell you what, we'll get to doing color holds, okay? Yeah.
This is kind of a color theory question.
Uh-huh.
Just going back, when you do a big page like this, like what was your strategy as far as applying color? I guess this goes back to your color wheel. Like I'm trying to figure out what triad you used, or you know what your thinking was.
Yeah, this thing was really just a complementary color piece.
And is there like something like your thinking is like holding this together so it wasn't jumping all over the place? Like I just find you know, when I do something like something that's very a couple of basic shades, it's no problem. When I have to do an entire scene like this, where the people are warm, the sky is blue, they're all different elements that you know, like are, you know, different colors that you know you're kind of dictated. as to how they need to be, like a red brick building.
Right.
How do you bring that all together?
Well, notice a lot of it too is not, I mean, the only thing in this whole thing that's really, you know, bright and saturated and stuff is spite. You know, if you go with a palette that's more like the rest of this stuff, where nothing is, there's nothing there that's really, I mean, shirt's probably the most saturated thing there. It's like everything is not quite so saturated. It's easier to control those harmonies. Yeah, and even too, if you had to, again, we could do like we were talking about before. Let's say it really wasn't quite working for us, and we wanted to unify this stuff down here a little more. If I make another layer, get it up above this stuff. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to go ahead and go to the grad tool. Go to transparent. And I just want to do a little, because I want to unify the lower part of this thing. So I've got a little cool here. Let's hit this with a little bit of a warm. I'm just going to drag, grab about to there, let's say. And then I'm going to bring down the opacity of this. And we go ahead and put it in, let's see if overlay works. With, without, without. I feel like you go to the eye doctor when you do some of this. Better one, better two. Better three, better four. You see how that gets it? That really kind of pulls that front part together too. And actually, you know, that actually works better, I think, now, because we have this kind of like cool stuff back here. He's warm, he's popping the biggest, but now they're all warm a little bit too. And it puts them, I think that moves that a little farther too. You know, so again, think about those big broad areas of washes can really, especially when you're dealing with a whole bunch of elements. You do a big unifying wash, even in one direction, it can be really cool. Another fun way to do that sometimes is to have a grad that you're actually doing a warm, cool grad as your wash. And think about where your shadow's going. And that can sometimes work on a big piece.
You have coloring below the line art.
Mm-hmm.
What mode is the line art in?
Multiply.
Yeah, mode for the white.
Multiply. Yeah. Yeah, that's always like one of the biggest things. I don't know how to get multiply. Yeah, it works. Yay! Okay. All right. So that's a sort of a checking out a spiky piece. Let's see. Let's look at some other coloring techniques. So what? Maybe another time. This is all digital. This is all Photoshop. So this is the benefit. This is if you really want to get that sort of painted look. Notice how things are kind of blended underneath, right? But then everything that's colored on top is almost optically colored, because it has the patterns blending the things together and hatching out, rather than it being a soft, smooth smudge or airbrush look. It's those textures that let you get that. Secret tip,